Nite Show! Talk of TV. I mean, everyone should be watching this show, but we were talking about shows that we all watch. Yeah. I'm not watching Real Housewives.
You should try it. No, at the beginning of one season, you should try and get into these characters. It's riveting. Utterly riveting, watching the machinations of these women and how they work. And there's one on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills called Camille. And you know Frasier Crane?
Yeah, you married to Frasier. Yeah.
She's a nutter. Really, she plays a piece. She's passive-aggressive. She's the sort that will go, oh, come on, Anne, you know you said that to me. She plays with your head like, if it was, I would have stabbed her. Really, I would get a gun and shoot the bitch. I don't know. I don't know how
it's more American every week.
13 years with that lunatic. That poor man, he's like, I love Frasier Crane, I love his chest. Oh.
I think we went into this uncomfortably deep one week. Right now, I think our first guest will agree with me that we're not going to watch The Real Housewives.
I'm sure he won't agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mike van Acker. not the show for you either.
Real Housewives?
Yeah.
Never looked at it.
No.
Don't think I'm likely to, although every week and on a Tuesday is like a little kid before Christmas going, Real Housewives tonight on Facebook, and part of me just goes, I really need to drop her as a friend sometimes. No, I love Anne. I love Anne, and I'm actually a little bit cut because I'm on like the other side of the studio to Anne, and I really took the gig thinking that I'd be near Anne.
Well, she does smell amazing. Like
Why
yoga.
Why don't you just pop
You know what?
to
Yeah,
that
if
corner
you
and
just
Mike
push your
could-
chair back
Yeah,
just
a
little bit.
I'll just scoot back.
Mike and I could just sit next to each other
We'll
in
just-
a
Well, the
double love seat.
The great thing about being me, though, is, you know, by DNA and by being American, if you look in this side, you can see through.
Yes, we can. We can't even see Vermont.
So, Mike, thank you for coming on the show. We've been chasing you for a little while to try to get you on.
Yeah, and frankly, I wasn't keen, but Anne made me. She tricked me. Right. Yeah, she's very,
She
very
offered you some
clever.
yoga.
Yeah, she did. There was mention
No,
of
so
complimentary yoga. Yes, there was.
And other treats.
Yeah.
Or was it smeared? That's what I wanted to do. You can have yoga from my navel.
I wasn't going to put it on with a brush.
Anyway.
Keep it clean.
Yeah.
So, you've been doing comedy for how long now?
It's pushing up to 20 years.
Wow.
It's a really, stupidly long time. Really.
Yeah, but you gotta love it, though.
Oh, I love it most of the time. The whole thing, no two gigs are the same. It's a chance to get out there and have my say. It gets me out of the house, away from the kids. There's lots of good things about comedy.
Yeah. You get free drinks occasionally?
Occasionally you do, yeah. And as a younger man, there were other things that you got as well. But I wouldn't be interested in that now. Yogo? No, I'm here for the yogo because I understand the value of dairy products now, but as a younger man, it was all about the chicks. What was I thinking? What was I thinking?
Well, you know, Mike, it still could be all about the chicks. Oh, sorry.
Especially American lactating moms who
Yeah.
don't want to get out of the car.
You squirt.
There's your dairy.
Yeah.
Can you breathe in this, ma'am? Oh, no.
Can we just get back to Mike and the chicks? You know, if Drea wasn't around and Kev wasn't around and...
No, Drea's around though, and Kev's around. I'm now actually have a vested interest in keeping Kev healthy because you're keener than I thought you were, Anne. But bless you.
So much for safe flirting. So where did it all start for you? 20 years ago, what made you go comedian doing it?
I played in bands, and I used to tell I wasn't very good. I used to sing and play guitar in bands a bit, and I'd tell a few jokes between the songs, and they seemed to go better than the actual songs. Seriously.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to get into it, and I actually, this is embarrassing, but I did singing telegrams for years and years and years in Brisbane in a company called Flim Flams. I did 10,000 of them over a really long period of time. And you know how you have sometimes you have a situation in your life where if you run out of cash, you can go, oh, I can always go get work. Flim Flam singing telegrams became my, you know what, I can always go get Friday, Saturday night, pick up a couple $100 a night. This is what so I kept going back to it for ages. I would probably still be doing it if comedy clubs hadn't started in Brisbane. So as soon as they did, I jumped across to that and started learning it.
Yeah, it's sorry, this cruise decided they're gonna play with something now. All right, fair enough. Singing telegrams. I don't think I've ever met anyone who's actually done that.
Oh, lots of people have done them. No one talks about it.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Fight Club. Yeah. It is like the job equivalent of that. That was a good thing. I learnt to deal with hecklers doing singing telegrams. because as soon as you walk in, and it's an odd reflection of society that if you show up at a party dressed as a gorilla or about to sing to someone, people get weird about it and yell stuff at you.
Right.
And it was all about owning the space. So I learnt and got good with hecklers doing that.
Right. They didn't give you any weapons to take with you?
No.
Just the gorilla suit was extra padded.
Yeah, occasionally you could catch a missile as it came towards you, like a stubby or something, and get a good shot back.
Yeah.
But that only happened 2 or 3 times. But it did happen.
I think I'd be too tempted to bring out the old Chevy Chase Land Shark.
I don't know the Chevy Chase Land Shark.
So he used to do singing telegrams, door to door, pretend to do singing telegrams, but he was actually a land shark and he'd eat you. It's a Chevy Chase thing for Saturday Night Live.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're
Can't believe I'm thinking about that now. Thank you.
That's all right. My cultural well is very deep.
Very deep.
And meaningless. Talk in the early days. I always like to talk about the early days of someone's career because hecklers, as you say, you learn to deal with them. They can make or break a talent because some people can't handle them. What are some of the nightmarish gigs that you had? Or
I was in New Zealand one time. I think it's called the Powerhouse or the Power Station, big theatre in Auckland, and it's all going okay. And a guy 8 or 10 rows back, for no real reason, I hadn't actually addressed anything at him, just yelled out, "Funny man, I will break you, eh, bro?" After the show, and that's what he meant. After the show, he was coming for me, but there was a menace in his voice. And it's a good idea not to antagonise Maori dudes that have already said they're going to break you.
Yeah, no.
So you just go work a different section of the stage,
and call the police.
Hope he forgets. Hope he forgets. Yes.
Yeah. Did he? Well, he obviously didn't break you.
I made it out. So, but it
How
felt
long
very.
did you stay in that dressing room though?
Yeah, part of me is still there. My manhood is still there, and I crawled out through the little window above the toilet and got out.
After you dumped your undies in the waste paper.
That's right. I'm pretty sure he's still outside the door right now, just going, "Have to come out sooner or later, eh, bro?"
You're gonna get it. I've been waiting here 10 years.
Yeah, there's a cleaner standing next to him because he's got to go in as well.
So it's one of those things I think are the gold because that's the stuff that after years after that's the things you're gonna look back at and kind of go giggle at or whatever or those kind of things you look back and go, I could have handled that better. I could have kung fu'd his ass.
No, the moments I remember are the moments where you might be talking to an audience, the ones I look back on, and you might find out something over here. Another audience member gives you something here, and you combine them with the impro, and if that works, that A, feels amazing, and B, is fun for the audience to watch. To me, going out doing my prepared stuff, I like doing it, but I expect that to work. I prepared that. Right. When you dive out and just do the impro stuff, and without using the impro tricks and stuff, just actually genuinely improing, you make that work, get a big hit away, that's a good one. They're the ones, as you drive home from the gig, you think about that, okay, and that was really cool.
Like, I was on tonight.
Yeah. Actually, I say that because, you can do a show that's not perfect in your head. It's not working the way it needs to for you to do your best work, but the audience still enjoy it. I like to think that even on my worst night, I'm not actually crap.
Right, yeah.
So.
Well, that's the kind of the thing that keeps us going.
Yeah.
Like, I've done 20 of these shows for this season, and I keep going, well, it's not as bad as it could be. I could just be going for a half hour, and the thought has been there a few times.
Yeah,
there's usually something to talk about.
Let's do nothing.
Just
let Zen out.
Yeah.
Our watcher.
If Craig Ferguson hadn't already patented the awkward pause, I'd just bring that in.
You could do your version of it, though. It's okay to do other people's pauses.
It's all in the delivery.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, not to put the spotlight on you, but did you have anything to add on that whole thing? Do you think it's gone a bit far? The whole.
Look, I'm kind of with Anne on this.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I have a career of my own. He's a young guy trying to make it. I think I know enough about him as a dude to know he probably made his choices. I've met the guy a few times. Good luck to him. And I actually getting to the point where you think he's a 22-year-old kid. I like what Anne said. He hasn't murdered anyone. It's a witch hunt. I don't really care, and I don't think any comedian that's been doing it for a long time and has a bigger overview would care. They care that he did it, but we don't need our pound of flesh out of it now. What's more interesting to me is it's opened the debate about is it okay to steal someone's stuff, and it's surprising how many people are coming out going, like, say it's all in the delivery or from where we, and people have said to me, friends have discussed it and gone, but we go see a band down the pub on a Friday and they play covers and we love that. And he's doing covers, why can't...
It's
a whole,
different.
It's a whole other mindset.
It's really hard to articulate.
Yeah,
isn't it?
but in the same way that a person that can do a reasonable replica of a painting can't go repainting The Last Supper and sell that as an original work. It's a
well, I mean, even the week that it happened, Nick Grimwood was on the show, and we were actually talking about that. We were talking about, there's no cover comedians.
No.
I mean, he goes, no, there is. He knew it. He went to a show in an RSL in New Zealand. Was probably the guy from your audience, and he was doing his whole act as Billy Connolly.
Right.
But he was telling stories about growing up in New Zealand as Billy Connolly.
Yeah. Okay.
So it can work, and I guess you can go into like the whole people doing the Monty Python dinner theaters and stuff. But no, you just don't do it. But obviously,
it's like someone stealing your car or my jewellery. It's really personal to you.
That's the other thing too. If you've written your act properly, it's almost impossible to steal. If you've written your act all about you and your life and the things that you do, it's almost impossible for someone to come in and do that convincingly. They can clean it up and adapt it to themselves. But if you're not writing, it depends on the style of comedian you are. If you're writing stream of consciousness or deadpan stuff, someone that's got to steal it's got to be able to pull off that delivery, still merge it in with the character that they're going for the rest of the time.
There's no way I could pull off a Stephen Wright.
No.
Doing his stuff, or even George Carlin or things like that. It's almost impossible to steal somebody who's like this. But I think I'm on the middle of it all. I don't think the guy needs to be crucified or anything.
No.
But, I think he's a couple of jokes. And everyone always asks me, why do I bring it all up? Because I'm a late night douche who's got to talk about these things. So.
Yeah, but I think he's lived and learned.
We'll see what happens next.
Yeah.
So you see what he does for his 15.30. try to stretch it out. They always try to do that little stretch. Maybe he'll be on the next Dancing with the Stars.
I do predict there'll be another chapter. He wants the fame too badly. He'll go out and find something else. Like even really, if he did wear that T-shirt saying "as seen on
Today Tonight,"
that's the funniest thing he's ever done right there.
Yeah.
Right. That's hilarious. Right?
In tie with that hairdo.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But one was nature, one was nurture. So I like the T-shirt thing, and that'll be his attitude. He'll go on and do something with it.
Yeah.
So.
And you've got to admire his tenacity.
Oh, he's a fearless little bugger.
You've got to admire it.
He is fearless. I've seen him on comedy clubs where he's delivering his own shit, which is pretty weak, right? But he's got that 3 million teeth and the big, and he is fearless with it. He just commits to it. So yeah, he'll be back for sure.
Well, you can admire that. I do admire anyone who's got the goal to get up there. Anyone who's got the to get it in front of a crowd is A-okay in my book. But yeah, you just don't steal.
No,
that's
was
where
his mistake.
my line is.
We've all made them.
So you stole them?
No.
So Mike, how can people get in contact with you to find out more about Mike van Acker?
Well, I'd prefer they didn't.
Right. Don't Google it.
Yeah, really, I'm not interested in people. But I am on Facebook. They can find me there if they're desperate.
All right.
So yeah, or my email is mike@thecomedians.com.au.
Fair enough. And Mike will be hanging around with us as we talk to Lindsay Webb right after the break here on the Late Night Show.